279 schoolgirls were released at around 4 a.m. this morning. He said the girls are currently at the Zamfara government house waiting to be reunited with their parents. However, details were not given of the whereabouts of the remaining 38 girls. Reports just coming in says the first tranche of 3.9 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines have arrived in Nigeria. The Boeing 777 Emirates aircraft conveying the vaccines touched down at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport minutes ago. Members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, led by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, were on the ground to receive the vaccines. Details in a moment. The federal government has charged the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to immediately develop a robust scheme for school protection across the country in order to ensure the safety of children, especially within the school environment, from the incessant attacks by kidnappers and armed men. Minister of Interior Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola handed down the directive in his office in Abuja while decorating Ahmed Audi as the new Commandant General of the NSCDC. This was contained in a statement by the Ministry of Interior spokesman Muhammad Manga. Aregbesola, who expressed sadness over the spate of violations and kidnappings in schools, urged the NSCDC to continue to work in synergy with other security agencies, with a view to immediately restoring peace and security in the country, particularly within the school environment. Following the claims that Edo State Fire Service was unable to put out the fire that gutted Mami Market at Igboba Hill, Benin City, the state government is yet to comment on the matter. Pius Nsogolon visited the Ministry of Youth and Special Duties reports that no official was willing to comment on the incident.
The affected traders, who were helpless as fire razed to the ground their shops, lamented that no help came their way from the State Fire Service. No official from Edo State Fire Service could comment on the incident, but a staff who preferred anonymity complained of lack of adequate equipment to do the job. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Special Duties, supervising the Department of Fire Service, Mrs. Ehimema Ebodage, declined comment on the matter. She told the news crew off camera that she needs to obtain permission before she could comment on the fire incident and the failure of Edo State Fire Service to respond to calls from residents. Pius Nsogo reporting.
In its quest to make basic education accessible to every child in Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki yesterday launched the Let's Go to School campaign program. The launching held during a stakeholders forum organized by Edo's Basic Education, an initiative of SUBEB, is targeted towards improving collaboration in the provision of basic education in the state. Government House correspondent Patience Osagiwa has details.
All children in Edo State must have access to free basic education. As I formally declare the Let's Go to School campaign.
That was the proclamation by the Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki at the John Odigie Oyegu Training Center signaled the commencement of Let's Go to School campaign as a way of identifying out-of-school children and bringing them back to school to enable them have access to free basic education. The Edo State Governor said free basic education is compulsory.
For us, it is about education. We would not be here today if not for education. We will not be playing the roles we are playing today if not for the quality of education we received. So, as a government, we thought it right that if we don't do anything, one thing we should leave behind is quality education that will make that child, that average child, that child of the bricklayer, the child of the professor, be able to acquire the knowledge to stand on their own.
Mr. Gordon Obaseki showed concern over politicization of education system and maintained that his administration is ready to check the trend. He revealed his administration's plan for special children in the state.
This message must go round, must go to every part of Edo State. No child must be left behind. Particularly the special children. Make sure if you find any child who is disabled, who has conditions that are being hidden at home, let us know. Those children deserve to be educated.
Chairman Edo Subeb, Dr. John Osa-Oviawe said the state universal basic education is a community-based and stakeholders-driven.
Edo State has the least number of out-of-school children in Nigeria, even while Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children in the world. At the level of Subeb, we have started the process of identifying these out-of-school children so that we can bring them back to school.
The forum featured special presentation by the pupils of Edo-based program titled Lead Us to the Path of Prosperity. Cultural display on basic education is the best and free, and the launching of Parents First campaign. Plaques were presented to 3 outstanding parents who have shown commitment to basic education. Patience Osaugiwa reporting.
You're watching the World News on Independent Television. Still to come, U.S. Center for Disease Control warns COVID-19 variants pose real threats to vaccine progress. Remember, you can watch ITV News on Roku TV in the UK, America, Africa, and other parts of Europe. Also on Smart TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TV. View us on TSTV on channel 364. On StarTimes channel 130 and GoTV channel 107. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at ITV Radio NG. Watch our programs on YouTube at ITV Radio NG. View our programs online from our website at itvradioNigeria.com. You can also download the ITV app from your mobile Play Store. Stay tuned.
On the coronavirus, the World Health Organization, WHO, recommends you take the following measures. Know that most people who become infected experience mild illness and recover, but it can be more severe for others. Take care of your health and protect others by doing the following.
Regularly and thoroughly clean your hands with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer or wash them with soap and water. Washing your hands with soap and water or using alcohol-based hand sanitizer kills viruses that may be on your hands.
Maintain at least 1 meter, which is 3 feet distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing.
Hands touch many surfaces and can pick up viruses. Once contaminated, hands can transfer the virus to your eyes, nose, or mouth. From there, the virus can enter your body and can make you sick.
Make sure you and the people around you follow good respiratory hygiene. This means covering your mouth and nose with your bent elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Then dispose of the tissue immediately.
Stay home if you feel unwell. If you have a fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical attention and call in advance. Calling in advance will allow your healthcare provider to quickly direct you to the right health facility. If you develop fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical advice promptly, as this may be due to a respiratory infection or other serious condition.
Be informed.
Be prepared.
Be smart.
Be safe.
Be ready to fight COVID-19.
This message is brought to you courtesy Independent Television and Radio.
Thanks for staying with us. The U.S. top health official has warned that the spread of highly contagious coronavirus variant is threatening to fuel a potential fourth surge of cases in the U.S. The head of the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention said she was concerned by recent COVID-19 data. Deborah Ogbefun has details.
The head of the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Rochella Walensky, said a high number of 70,000 new cases a day had been recorded, with nearly 2,000 deaths a day last week. The Center for Disease Control also predicted the highly contagious B117 variant first found in the UK will become the dominant strain in the US this month. Given this, Dr. Walensky said she was really worried about reports of US states rolling back the exact public health measures, which was recommended to protect people from COVID-19. According to World Health Organization, the U.S. has recorded more than 28 million infections and 500 deaths related to COVID-19. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention said until more people are vaccinated, variants could drive a spark in cases threatening health system already under strain. As at Monday, the U.S. had administered more than 76 million doses of vaccine. Overall, the U.S. has given the most doses of any country in the world. According to the world data, the U.S. ranked 4th, behind the UK, the EU and Israel. Deborah Ogbefun reporting.
The French government says older people with pre-existing conditions can now get AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine, reversing its stance on the issue. The French health minister said people affected by comorbidities can be vaccinated with AstraZeneca, including those aged between 65 and 74. Deborah Ogbefun has details.
Speaking on France television, the French health minister, Olivier Véran, said people with pre-existing conditions could get the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine from GP surgeries, hospitals, and within this from pharmacies, while those over 75 will be offered either Pfizer or Moderna jabs in a vaccination center. Last month, France approved the use of vaccine for people under the age of 65 only, citing lack of data for older people. In January, French President Emmanuel Macron said the AstraZeneca vaccine was squashing ineffective for older age groups, a claim strongly rejected at the time by the UK officials and scientists. However, as more data emerged, French health officials have tried to convince people that it's just as safe and effective as other COVID vaccines. The Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is widely used across the UK, but several EU countries are still limiting it to the people under the age of 65. The EU drugs regulator has approved it for all adults, but it is up to each member to set its own rollout policy. Deborah Ogbefun reporting.
Asked China to stop taking annual swab tests for COVID-19 on its citizens when they enter the country. Officials say some have complained that the procedure caused them psychological distress. The Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary Katsunobu Katsu said some of its citizens reported to the embassy in China that they received anal swab tests, which caused great psychological pain. China, which has largely brought the virus under control, was alleged to have started carrying out anal swab tests in January. Last week, it denied it had required people to undergo such tests after U.S. media reported some had complained about the procedure. An American father and son have been handed over to Japanese authorities for allegedly helping former Nissan boss Carlos Ghosn flee the country. The two were charged last year with helping Mr. Ghosn flee Japan, hidden in a box and on a private jet. Deborah Ogbefun has details.
The U.S. Supreme Court last month cleared the way for the extradition of Mr. Taylor and his son, who have been in the U.S. custody since their arrest in May last year. According to their lawyers, they were handed over to Japanese officials earlier on Monday for allegedly helping former Nissan boss Carlos Ghosn flee the country to his childhood home, Lebanon, which has no extradition treaty with Japan. Japanese broadcaster NHK reported that CCTV footage showed Mr. Ghosn leaving leaving his house and walking to a nearby hotel where he joined two other men. After his escape, Mr. Ghoshi had a press conference in Lebanon in which he denied charges of financial wrongdoing in Japan, claiming the country's justice system was rugged. Mr. Taylor and his son, Peter Taylor, have fought a month-long battle to avoid extradition over the case. Prosecutors say they received over $1 million to help the former Nissan boss escape Japan on 29 December 2019. Michael Taylor is a 60-year-old private security specialist and U.S. Army special veteran. It is believed that the former Nissan boss was concealed in a large luggage case, which was then loaded into a private jet without being checked by the authority. The former Nissan executive was first arrested on the charge of financial misconduct in November 2018 for allegedly underreporting his pay package for 5 years to 2015. Deborah Uberfun reporting.
The United Nations investigators have said tens of thousands of civilians are still missing after being detained arbitrarily during 10 years of civil war in Syria. Thousands more have been tortured or killed in custody, according to a news report detailing alleged war crimes and crime against humanity by all parties. Victims and witnesses described unimaginable suffering, including the rape of girls and boys as young as 11. Syria has been devastated by a conflict that erupted after President Bashar al-Assad's government responded with deadly force to peaceful anti-government protests in March 2011. The fighting has left at least 380,000 people dead and caused half the population to flee their homes. Including almost 6 million refugees abroad, and the report of the UN Human Rights Council Independent International Commission of Inquiry on Syria was based on more than 2,650 interviews and investigations into more than 100 facilities. Chad's main opposition candidate, Saleh Kebzabo, has announced his exit from the presidential election set for 11th of April. Mr. Kebzabo was accused of using force to intimidate rivals. Deby's President Deby, who has been in power through a military coup in 1990, is serving his fifth term. A strong ally of the West in regional counterterrorism operations. The announcement of Mr. Kebzabo follows the killing of at least 2 people, and security forces tried to arrest another opposition leader, Yahya Dillo, at his home in the capital. Mr. Kebzabo also announced the decision on his Twitter handle. On sports, former Super Eagles striker Odion Ighalo scored a brace for his Saudi Arabia club Al-Shabaab as they push for their 7th title following a 2-1 away win against the MAC on Monday. The Nigerian put his side ahead in the 12th minute with a header before the visitors rallied back. Then Ighalo netted the winning goal 6 minutes before the break. The 31-year-old has now scored 3 goals and provided 1 assist in 5 league appearances for the Lions. Al-Shabaab topped the Saudi Arabia Premier League table 4 points from 21 games. You're watching the world news on Independent Television. We'll go on a break shortly. Just stay with us.
Advice to the public on the coronavirus. The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends you take the following measures: mild illness and recover, but it can be more severe for others. Take care of your health and protect others by doing the following.
Regularly and thoroughly clean your hands with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer or wash them with soap and water. Washing your hands with soap and water or using alcohol-based hand sanitizer kills viruses that may be on your hands.
Maintain at least 1 meter, which is 3 feet distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing.
Hands touch many surfaces and can pick up viruses. Once contaminated, hands can transfer the virus to your eyes, nose, or mouth. From there, the virus can enter your body and can make you sick.
Make sure you and the people around you follow good respiratory hygiene. This means covering your mouth and nose with your bent elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Then dispose of the tissue immediately.
Stay home if you feel unwell. If you have a fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical attention and call in advance. Call in advance will allow your healthcare provider to quickly direct you to the right health facility. If you
Be ready to fight COVID-19.
Turn me around, make me wanna dance.
I will dance.
Oh, I will also dance. I feel like break dancing.
Hello, we're inviting you to dance with us at Jesus Resurrection Party Talk.
Easter Gbedu Dot Salvation.
Arranged by Independence Television and Radio to exhibit our joy of salvation.
The joy of salvation, joy every day.
Father of the Day, Bishop Okundige Osayuki Charles, General Overseer, Anointed Brethren Ministries, and Proprietor, Sita International Schools.
Partly sponsored by
The Praise Builders and Estate Developers Limited, Head Office, Comfort Plaza, 84 Etiti, off Adesua Road, GRA, Benin City. Vertical Solar, 28, Country Home Motel Road, off Ajub Junction, Sapele Road, Benin City.
Get Rich Global Properties, Kilometer 10, Our Meeting Plaza, opposite Rock of Ages, First Obed Junction, Sapele Road, Benin City.
Auto Bliss International, number 1, Imasoge Avenue, opposite Ebenezer School Complex, off Ihama, GRA, Benin City. Call us to manage your car.
And supported by Jonasco Technical Enterprise, JJ Owa Junction, Upper Mission Extension, Ute Quarters, close to Temboga Market, Benin City.
Edosma Electrical Services, Dealers and Generator, number 61, Wire Road, Benin City. Mainland Academy, 14, Izoti Street, off Airport Road, behind Obas Palace, Benin City. Admission is ongoing. Prophet Peter O. Izewahai, Prophet of Prosperity, Holy Spirit Temple Ministry, JC Delta State, Kilometer 12, beside Always Africa Filling Station, Belisima Oha and Ekosa, Sapele Road, Benin City. Prophet Goldwater Agawanyi, Senior Pastor, Floodgate of Heaven International Ministries, second turn by your right, off Chief Francis Edo Sage Street, off Limit Road, Ubo Village Road, GRA, Benin City.
Date, Sunday, 4th April 2021.
Time, 10 a.m.
Venue, on air.
And just before we go, we'll now join Thomas Sado for details of our earlier report of the first tranche of 3.9 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines arriving in Nigeria. The Boeing 777 Emirates aircraft conveying the vaccines touched down at the International Airport, Nnamdi Azikiwe, minutes ago.
Members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, led by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, were on the ground to receive the vaccines. Mr. Mustafa thanked the federal government, World Health Organization and others for their assistance in ensuring that the vaccines got to Nigeria. Receiving the vaccines, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osaige Hanire, said the vaccines will be subjected to NAFDAC tests before other formalities will follow.
Officially handed over to the government, represented by Secretary to the Government, and now to the Ministry of Health. It is our belief that this is the beginning of our towards eliminating the COVID-19 from our country. We assure you that the due process will be done. There will be equitable use and also free distribution, application to all parts of the country according to the protocol that has been worked out.
A representative of NAFDAC said after the test, whose results are expected in 2 days, the vaccines will be administered first on frontline health workers.
I'm here to represent the Director General NAFDAC, and I want to inform all that we have looked at the dossier and NAFDAC has given approval for these vaccines. We have our staff on ground now. They will take samples and send it to our lab, and very soon, in the next 1-2 days, we will give the final result of the test.
The 3.9 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine is courtesy of the World Health Organization COVAX initiative and donated free of charge to Nigeria. Thomas Sado reporting.
To end the world news, a look at our top stories. 279 female students abducted from a school